What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself, the best one, Donnie here, back with a brand new episode of Hot Takes, where I give you guys my hot takes on things going on in the professional wrestling world. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course you already know, the grind is real. And before we get into this week's episode of Hot Takes, this Saturday for the WWE Royal Rumble, We Are Wrestling will be having its biggest stream. We're doing a live watch along to the Rumble, so if you're looking for somebody to watch the premier live event with, highly recommend joining our stream. We'll be live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Saturday for the WWE Royal Rumble. So, this week on Hot Takes, let's talk about KAZUCHIKA Okada, the Rainmaker, because his contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling is up on January 31st, 2024, making him a free agent. And both WWE and AEW have expressed interest in acquiring Okada to their brand. But according to multiple reports, it seems like Okada is WWE bound, and he is going to start on NXT. And there's a lot of people in the IWC who are not happy about Okada starting in NXT. He's headlined Tokyo Domes, he's main evented lots of New Japan shows, and he's had, lots of 5-star classic matches, throughout his professional wrestling career. And a lot of people feel like he shouldn't start in NXT. And this week on Hot Takes, man, let's talk about it. I want to give you guys my take on, Okada starting in NXT. First and foremost, my buddy Ricky, he's a, New Japan Pro Wrestling fan. He watches, all the pay-per-views and shows that, they broadcast, and he is not happy at all about this news. And, oh boy, let's hear what Ricky's got to say on Ricky Knows Best.
Ricky knows best, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky knows best. Believe in me. God bless you.
It's me, Ricky Williams.
Moxley's just as crazy as him.
No, Ricky! Bullshit!
They do it too sometimes. I'll be catching it.
It's me, Ricky Williams.
Stop playing.
But that's my opinion.
You're so over.
Ricky knows best, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky knows best. Believe in me. God bless you. What's up? We Are Wrestling. Shout out to Donnie and Ben. Y'all want my thoughts on KAZUCHIKA Okada? One of the most legendary wrestlers in Japanese history. Want my thoughts on him leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling to go to WWE, aka NXT? Y'all already know. I had 1,000 things to say on this, but I am very mad right now. I just don't want to show it, but I am very mad, given that I watch Japanese wrestling, and I'm a fan of the strong style in wrestling. I'm a wrestling head. Like, everybody that knows me personally knows I like New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm a wrestling head, and I'm really disappointed and shocked at these turn of events that Okada is going to WWE. This is the last thing I wanted as a wrestling fan. I am very, 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 very upset. And then New Japan took more L's with Will Ospreay, Tama Tonga, and now KAZUCHIKA Okada. 3 of your best wrestlers over there. Now New Japan is in a bind. In New Japan, they better think of something very quickly, because this is not going to get easy, and it's going to get ugly depending on the situation. But I'm a New Japan Pro Wrestling guy regardless, and at the end of the day, I still have faith in them. What, Okada going to WWE? Boy, you don't even want to know my real reaction when I heard that. I thought it was a rumor, and I'm hoping it's a rumor, hoping it's trolls. But at the end of the day, I wish him the best though. One of the best wrestlers in the world. So thank you, Kazuchika Okada, for everything you've done for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Shout out to We Are Wrestling on top of that. Peace out.
Yeah, Ricky is not happy about this news, just like a lot of you guys. But before I give you guys, my thoughts on, Okada starting in NXT and potentially being WWE bound, I do want to say this. It is absolutely crazy how much momentum WWE has right now. They just secured the bag, putting Monday Night Raw on Netflix for 10 years, worth $5 billion. They just got The Rock, a part of, TKO now as a shareholder, and getting his trademark, The Rock. And now, Okada, one of the best professional wrestlers right now, who's going to be a top free agent in just a couple days. Their roster right now is so stacked that one of the best, professional wrestlers in New Japan has to wrestle in NXT. What a time it is to be a WWE superstar, because there's a lot of eyes on the product. They're selling out shows, including live events, which, for the past, 10 years, the, live events, the live event tickets were, declining. And now, all of a sudden, we are back in a boom period when it comes to sports entertainment and professional wrestling. There's so much, wrestling to watch, and in my opinion, I think, Kazuchika Okada starting in NXT, I don't think it's a bad idea. But I understand why a lot of, wrestling fans are frustrated about him starting in NXT, because he has, earned his stripes. He is, a true professional, and WWE NXT is known as a developmental program. But, within the past year, WWE has been wanting to get more eyes on NXT, similar to the Black and Gold brand. And I could definitely see them putting Okada on there to, boost ratings and to really, give him time before they do call him up to the main roster, because the worst situation that you could be in as a WWE superstar is being just thrown right into the pack of wolves without, a storyline, without a creative direction. And we've seen it multiple times where a lot of guys, get called up from NXT and then they go on to the main roster and they do not have a good run. A couple years later, they end up getting released and, showing up in AEW or, the independent circuit. So with WWE, I think that, putting Okada in NXT isn't really a bad option. But if you're going to acquire, one of the top free agents in professional wrestling, you definitely need to, get on the drawing board, and you need to come up with something, creative. But there's also a part of me that feels like he should start on the main roster, because a lot of the times when wrestlers, start in NXT and then they go to the main roster, they have a hard time transitioning from NXT to the main roster. And with Okada, I feel like, Triple H can definitely make him feel like $1 million. And by doing that, you do a thing called vignettes. And especially with WWE, being globally worldwide, we saw what they did when, they announced Jade Cargill to WWE. Everybody was talking about it. They made her feel like a big deal. They made her feel like she was larger than life. One perfect example I have that they could do that would help Okada would be doing vignettes similar to the original Sin Cara back in 2011. They, did these video packages really hyping him up, and instead of having him start off in, Florida Championship Wrestling, or, right now it would be NXT, they, brought him up to the main roster and they made him feel important. Well, for 3 weeks, because obviously Vince McMahon was running things. But I think, with Triple H's, creative, I think that, bringing Okada up to the main roster, you can easily set up a great video package, and a lot of people already know who he is in the US and, obviously in Japan and, globally, worldwide. If you are a diehard professional wrestling fan, which I'm assuming you are because we are Wrestling Maniac, then you know who Okada is. But for the casuals, they don't know who he is, and I feel like when it comes to, somebody that is well known, the main roster is probably the best option for that superstar, because when you have somebody that's developing in NXT, having them go from NXT to the main roster, it makes sense, because NXT, I believe, should be only a developmental company, or should be a developmental program. It should be, for homegrown talent, and guys and girls that aren't being used properly on TV. I think, Okada, he's going to be, NXT champion if they, have him over there. But I hope that, with his run in NXT, it's only a year. I don't think that this is the end of the world for Okada starting off in NXT. If anything, he's going to get used to the way things are being done in the WWE, which sometimes isn't a bad option. Perfect example, Shinsuke Nakamura during the NXT Black and Gold brand. He was somebody, who was in New Japan Pro Wrestling for years, one of the top guys over there. And, instead of having him, get thrown into the pack of wolves, they had him start off in NXT. We saw, TNA legends like Bobby Roode, Eric Young, Samoa Joe start off in NXT. And so that's why, I don't think it's a bad thing for, Kazuchika Okada to start off in NXT. But I do understand the frustrations of that. And then there's also some, fans in the IWC who are saying,
well, Okada, you don't have to go to NXT, you can just go to AEW right now.
I don't think AEW is the best option right now for Okada. He's already said, he wants to wrestle at WrestleMania, and let's be real, AEW has lost a lot of momentum, and I think, Okada, he wants to, Okada wants to wrestle the best of the best, and he wants to be seen by millions of people. AEW, their viewership has been, very stagnant. The audience for, both AEW Dynamite and Collision haven't been as good as it once was, and I think, with Okada, he just wants, a change of scenery. He's been doing, this professional wrestling for years. He hasn't, dipped his toes in WWE. And whether you love watching WWE or not, you can't deny the fact that every professional wrestler, their dream is to be a WWE superstar. And I think that, Kazuchika Okada, I think, would be better off in WWE than AEW, where he's going to feel like a big deal in AEW if he, does sign there for a few months. And then after a while, he's just going to get lost in the shuffle. He's going to probably end up wrestling on Rampage or Collision. And that's the thing, with AEW. They bring in a lot of these, big stars from New Japan Pro Wrestling and, WWE. And even, TNA. And when they first, come into the product, they are very hot. They got momentum. And then eventually it just dries out. Because AEW is in a dilemma right now where they can't decide. Do they want to go down, the professional wrestling, sports-orientated route? or, you know, going down the WWE route because they're trying to compete with them. And I think, you know, that right there, you know, does take a lot of momentum away from a lot of guys and girls. And I think that, you know, AEW already has so many people on their roster, and a lot of the times they don't know what to do with them instead of, you know, just throwing them in random matches. I think that, you know, if anybody's going to make Okada feel big, if anybody's going to make Okada feel important, it's the WWE easily. I just really hope they don't change his name. I really hope that they don't change his presentation. I hope he keeps the nickname the Rainmaker, and let's make him feel like $1 million bucks. But I think a lot of people, they just need to, you know, just sit back and wait. Let's see what's going to happen. I think a lot of us, you know, pro wrestling maniacs, we just love to just jump right on the gas and, you know, pretty much criticize what's going to happen, and then months later, we realize why we're the fans and we're not the ones, you know, running WWE. I think we got to give it a chance, we got to give it a try and see what happens. Personally, I do hope that they do bring, you know, Okada up to the main roster, but I don't think NXT is a bad thing like a lot of people are saying. But guys, let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on Kazuchika Okada being WWE bound. Let me know. If you guys enjoyed this week's episode of Hot Takes, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. The link's down in the description below. You can go follow me over on my social medias and other YouTube pages. All that down below. And of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.